Of course, that effort in the first year of the administration falls just short of getting approved in the legislature. What was...
Well, we got our tax bill passed, and we got...
But not in the first year.
Yeah. Oh, not in the first year, sir. Sorry. I thought you said term. Sorry.
No, first year.
No, it took us six bills, didn't it? I think.
Whatever. Do you remember what the mood was in the office when you lost the vote during the first year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for a day or two, it was... I mean, we lost several votes in the first year, certainly the first and second years. And there would always be this kind of, oh, geez, you know, like losing a campaign, like losing a political campaign. I was rather well experienced losing a political campaign. And because you always go into a political campaign, as we did with those votes that we lost, those first 5 votes, I think, believing you're going to win. You can't conduct a campaign for anything, a candidate or an issue, without believing you're going to win, right? And so you convince yourself you're going to win, and then you lose, and you feel terrible for a few days. Then you pick yourself up and you keep going. You know, somebody has a new idea. Well, we're going to get Lynch's vote this way, or we're going to get, or we're going to get Lynch out of the hospital to be able to vote this time. And, you know, and then you gear yourself back up, or you have a new idea. Like, I mean, the idea of the rebate was one of those ideas that in the early editions of the tax bill was nowhere to be found. The way I remember this, which is I'm sure overly simplified by the press of decades, but the way I remember this is that particularly in the governor's office, somebody, probably Kevin Sullivan in the treasurer's office, and or his wife, even then at the time, Kathy Sullivan, and Jeff Laurenti, a classmate of mine from the Woodrow Wilson School, who by then was working for Joe Merlino.
Senator Merlino.
Senator Merlino, the head of this. What position was Joe in? Was he the head of the Senate?
Senate President.
He was the president of the Senate, yeah. So Jeff Laurenti, as Joe Merlino's chief aide, this group of 3 or 4 of us were continuing to say you got to have a rebate of some kind so that people see that you're not just taking money away from them, you're equalizing the system, and you can't rely on reductions in local property taxes from increased school aid to make that clear to people. You've got to show them directly what the state government is doing, if only in a semi-symbolic way, because that's how Pat Lucey pulled it off in Wisconsin. And you know, slowly more people came to believe that was the price. It wasn't. I mean, the earlier pieces of the earlier attempts to pass a tax package didn't have that, because it was really somewhat inefficient government to do this sort of circular thing with money. And we just kept saying, well, look, it was the only way Pat Lucey could get a similar state, similar makeup in the legislature and so on, to pass an income tax and do some property tax equalization. And slowly more and more people kind of came on board with that. I regret to tell you on this public record that I was not the person to think of splitting the rebate into 2 parts, one that came just before the primary and the second just before the general election. That was Laurenti, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he'd cop to it, but I wish I had thought of that. I wish I had.